We've done the introduction. I think in the interest of time, let me recognize the presence of Honorable Minister J.G. Moyo, who has come earlier for his other meeting, and I also recognize the colleagues from Land Bank. I know their meeting is starting at 11:15, but thank you for joining us for this press conference that Minister Honorable Professor Mutuli Moyo and I organized so that we could give an update on the incentive planning prices for strategic commodities for the 2023-2024 summer season. We have a document that we've prepared for the press so that you don't miscommunicate. We thank you for this rich presence. What I will do is on behalf of the Minister and myself, will try and just paraphrase the main issues. Will afford you an opportunity to ask us some questions that are very specific to this presentation and not to our appointments. So we'd like to assist farmers to make informed production decisions. And that is why government is now announcing 3 sets of prices. The first is a planning price, which allows farmers to factor in government's policy direction in their farming operations. The second is a pre-planting price. Just before planting for the main dryland season, in about November, we will give an indicative update of a pre-planting price. And then we have a marketing price, ordinarily announced in March when we market the major summer grains, and also very soon, perhaps in the next week or so, we will be calling you again to this boardroom to announce the marketing arrangements for winter wheat. So we want to indicate to you the determination of maize and traditional grains incentive planning prices. And this is based on the government-approved policy of the cost-plus approach, although we use the import parity to interrogate reasonability of that pricing and where our farmers ought to be if we were in a production system similar to theirs. Zimbabwe is generally at this stage a higher production base compared to other jurisdictions. So our planting, planning and marketing prices tend to be higher, but government is determined to assure this nation of perennial food security, so we pay a cost plus. We use a cost plus pricing mechanism to pay farmers, and we use a 15% return and a yield of 5.55 metric tons per hectare for maize. And using this, we arrive at $335.03 per metric ton for maize. And for the determination of sunflower, we use soybean as the best crop. We want sunflower and cotton to be major oilseed crops alongside soybean. Soybean is now regarded as a feed crop and not an oilseed crop. It has 18% oil content, sunflower is 30 plus, and is suited to the smallholder sector, dry areas. So it really fits in the rural transformation model that government is propagating. And using this arrangement, the sunflower price is $654.34 per metric ton. But we also recognize that there are 4 categories of farmers. The first category is those farmers that their own resources go in and commit. And these farmers, we recognize them as contractors in their own right. Then we have those farmers that are contracted by the private sector. The government policy is that 40% of what the raw material users utilize in a year should be secured through contract financing. So if you are a miller, if you are a bread producer, you must not think that the GMB is your land. You must secure 40% of your annual raw material requirement from contracting farmers out there. And the private sector has come in very strongly to assist government, and we thank them for that. Then there is the government guaranteed schemes which we used to call Command Agriculture, which we now call National Enhanced Agricultural Productivity Scheme, where through the AFC, CBZ, and more banks are coming on board going into this summer. We have NMB that has indicated that they also want to support. So these are the categories of farmers, and we are putting marketing arrangements that are unique and peculiar to these various contracting schemes. As you know, we are moving into a structured liberalization of the marketing system to ensure that we crowd in the private sector. So the incentive arrangements that we have are as follows. First, for the 2023-2024 season, an incentive planning price for maize of $335.03 per metric tons for farmers. I think this should be sufficiently motivating to allow us to secure the 1 million metric tons plus of maize into the grain marketing board and the other users next year. Then, secondly, importation of maize by private players be allowed in view of the predicted El Nino to build national stocks, and this is with immediate effect, that private players with their own resources can import as much as they want beginning now. Third, that minimal imports by households will continue, and the two ministries, agriculture and industry, will be working out the detailed modalities with finance and investment promotion to say what quantities per household does this mean, so that commercial consignments are excluded from this arrangement. Fourth, the 2023-2024 season incentive planning price for traditional grains is $335.03 per metric ton, which is the same as maize. And we urge, especially the smallholder sector, to go all out to plant traditional grains in view of the predicted lower than normal rainfall season. Number 5, the sunflower incentive planning price of $654.37 per metric ton. 6, importation of soybean by private players be allowed with immediate effect in view of the predicted El Nino to build national stocks. 7th and last, the private sector to provide regular returns on imports, stocks, and local purchases of strategic commodities, so that both the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Finance, Water and Rural Development, and Finance and Investment Promotion have a clearer, real-time statistics of national food availability, and in this regard, a statutory instrument will be issued. So thank you very much. Minister Tulingwe and I will be able to take any specific questions related to what we have just said, and please, we have not been sworn in yet, and I'm sure it will happen later today, so don't ask questions about appointments. Press. Going once? Twice. We should be quiet. We were extremely happy. Last time. Questions? Oh, okay. Maybe let's open for the Minister of Finance and Investment. Any question you want to ask? Still no. Oh, there is a head up.
Yes. So maybe.
Oh, okay. Just go ahead, please.
Okay.
Who you are and who you represent, and then the question.
It's written in the Daily News. So just wanted to find out some of the initiatives or programs that have been lined up in case we're going to face severe drought, since we're expecting an El Nino this season.
Yes. You wanted to ask. Do you still want to ask?
I want to ask.
Ask.
Tonight, Madam, I received how the ministry is help private to
Well, I thought we had said this should be directed to the Minister of Finance, but anyway.
No, they're all from the Minister of agriculture.
Yes, let's get them.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, Sfiso Mapranga from CFM Stereo. So there's a predicted El Nino drought that we are actually going to face. So are we going to get some foodstuffs like basic commodities, for example, the prices of milling being subsidized in order to cater for the general people in the country?
Well, let's take the first three and tell you, yes, at ZFM, the predicted below normal rainfall. Let's put this into context. The latest forecast is not as bad as it been initially predicted. We now have the October, November, December forecast for the northern parts of the country indicating normal to below normal. And then the southern parts of the country, much north into northern Midlands, much south, being below normal to normal. So the greater part of the country, normal to below normal. And the lower part of the country, below normal to normal. Then the second half of the season is predicted to be normal to below normal for the whole country. With this prediction, we have put in place 17 additional measures to climate-proof agriculture. And we climate-proof agriculture at two levels. At household level, we've said we want this sustainable, intensive conservation agriculture dubbed as the rolling out for 3 minimum plots, each village a farmer field school, and ensuring that organic matter and liming is done to correct pH. So you maintain the soil health, ensuring that mulch is collected, ensuring that the planting is correct. This we say is a must. We've also said that what is grown in an agroecological zone is determined not by what the farmer wants, but by the exigencies of that agroecological region. So you can't grow maize in region 5 in a season predicted to be below normal. So we want that agroecological tailoring to be sharpened. And the distribution this year we heightened JMB depots in the specific agroecological regions will only receive crops that are suitable for those regions. We're engaging all the seed houses so that they don't sell the wrong crops and wrong varieties in the wrong regions. And there is much more that we are doing in terms of climate proofing, including introducing across the 35,000 villages experimental moisture enhancers for this season, that if we find this to be useful, we'll be able to spread more widely. But a lot is happening, and we do have a document that lists the 17 additional interventions to ensure that we climate-proof agriculture. We are also looking at identifying farmers with individual irrigation and all the irrigation schemes, the 460 of them will be obliged to do some irrigated maize. We've identified 90,000 hectares of potential irrigation for maize this summer. And this morning, we were going through this with the team, and now we have a list of farmers in every ward, and we'll be assigning them to agri-tax officers so that we can begin to onboard them. So we'll have this twin approach where at a household level we assure the nation of food security through Fuguza Intwasa, and at a bigger level we focus on maximizing irrigation so that we can produce sufficient for the nation. With this, there won't be a need to subsidize milling because there will be so much. And we also have, as we speak, more than 260,000 metric tons of stock in the GMP of maize and traditional grains. We have 140,000 metric tons of wheat. So I think that appropriately priced maize meal will be available because these measures will lead to enough production. In terms of support for the private sector, government has done so much, from irrigation development to mechanization. We now have over 18,000 tractors operational, and farmers can access these with an additional 3,500 tractors on the ICs. So a lot is happening. There's capacitation of extension to be able to assist farmers. I could go on and on and on and on. So you can see why the minister appointed me, the president appointed me. So I'll stop you here. Direct all your questions to Minister Mutuli.
Let's say add on the last question. As Mr. Masuga has explained at length regarding the matter of climate proofing our agriculture in response to El Nino. Your question was about then ensuring a supply and then the pricing of that product once it's available. So if it's unaffordable, then we introduce a subsidy. That was the nature of the question. For now, the action that we are taking is to ensure adequate supply. That's the first order of business. So open up the borders with immediate effect and allowing private sector to import maize grain. And no duty at all. So we're doing that, and the same thing applies to maize meal, which we opened up a few months ago. So that continues, and that's to ensure supply. But also is to do it early, before prices in the region start going up and around the world. Because the moment there is officially El Nino, prices start moving. So players should lock in now and move very quickly, use their free funds to import grain and maize meal for those who need to. And then once we're done with that, and then we know exactly if El Nino is upon us for sure, we can deal with the issue of subsidies, how to support citizens, but we always stand ready to support our citizens should prices get out of control.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for those additional vital comments. Let's take two more questions. Yes.
Dr. Sengiri from NI. So from what you have said, this means you have automatically suspended plans to export, like the PSA said before that we are going to export excess wheat in terms of food.
Another question? Yes, we have not suspended. We are increasing production. In fact, we have 90,191 hectares of wheat, and we anticipate no less than 420,000 metric tons of wheat against our national requirement of 360,000 metric tons, and we added that the current stock of 140,000 metric tons of wheat. Although we are going to lower than normal rainfall season, you can see that the stock that we have is very adequate, and we are looking for nations that wish to import from us, just like we are beginning to look for appropriately priced maize elsewhere.
But wheat is a largely irrigated crop anyway. It is a winter crop, so it's not likely that the El Nino effect, such a big effect and impact, like a big impact on wheat specifically. The impact is more on the maize side. The traditional grains are what they are. They are tough, so they should be okay.
We will be able to announce with our dams are 82% full compared to the normal this time of the season at about 67% full. So we have enough water to irrigate summer. We will be able to announce whether we see that we'll be able to replenish those dams going into winter 2024, and as the planning goes, we'll announce. But thank you very much, the press, very enthusiastic, and I hope that we'll be able to report correctly, contextually. We look forward to seeing you perhaps by the end of the week, into next week, when we announce the exciting marketing arrangements for winter wheat. Thank you very much. Thank you.